the exact opposite of what EchoFox have had. But there have been close ones. There have been signs of life for Liquid. It's just, they've been a bit dim, and we'll see if it can happen here. Shen banned off the table. You see that with Liquid willing to first pick it. EchoFox don't want to give that one away, and we retain that same red side Zac ban.
And I honestly would like to see a team like TL just draft something extremely simple. Draft something with very simple win conditions, whether it's 1-3-1, you draft very strong side lanes, or you draft something with a ton of wave clear. Like, you just have to do something very, very simple, I think, and stick to the basics, because they're struggling in the macro game. Like, the actual individual players play, I think, is fine. It's just that they're not being able to keep up as a team, and on the LCS level, you know, that's more what it comes down to, rather than just being good in lane.
Yep, absolutely agree. That's the big skill that gets tested for the most part. Lourlo off the table as well, so EchoFox actually removing a lot of the tools that Liquid had used before with that giant Kog'Maw, and they maybe aren't willing to just rely on a great 50 minutes again. Galli off the table means a Kennen first pick, blind pick comes through for EchoFox. Lane dominant from the top side is the name of the day.
It definitely is. I mean, there are some picks that can compete with it. You look at, really, when you're looking at solo queue, if you look at any of the top challenger top laners, it's like Fiora, Jayce, Kennen. That's pretty much the 3 champions that everyone plays, because those are those kind of simple win condition. You bully lane, you split push, and that's kind of how you get your edge. And I do think that something like a Jayce can sometimes match up okay against a Kennen. You can fight it out pretty well. You obviously can go ways like Galio and just try to wave clear and hold on. That can work out pretty well too.
Now Liquid getting some pretty powerful picks themselves. Lourlo off the table, they grab up the Karma. I think we are in a world where you can go for shielding supports or playmakers. We've seen Bards and Rakans do well, but it's kind of up to team style right now, and Liquid clearly pretty happy to play for shielders down to the bot lane. ReignOver takes away the Elise that Akaadian played prior, and maybe we get to see the Messiah duo out of EchoFox here. There's Xayah locked in. Rakan is possible to follow. I don't think she has to be flanked by the Rakan, but we've seen it together most times, more often than not, and they will allow a Rakan ban to come through if they don't want to play against it. Lee Sin instead grabbed for Akaadian.
I think it's kind of smart if you're impartial, like if you don't really care about if you have Rakan or not, maybe the other team is willing to actually spend a ban on it. And there is the Jayce, so that Jayce could actually, you know, be going mid lane, it could be going top lane to match up against the Kennen. If you are playing range versus range carry in the top lane, you really do want jungle attention there, because that is going to be so snowbally that whoever kind of gets that first kill, that first pick, can often take over in that lane.
Absolutely, and in fact, I think it's multiple flex picks as well. I can see Karma easily going mid, especially in a Jayce game. You're going to run almost always physical damage bot lane, physical damage top lane. You want some magic damage somewhere. The Elise helps, and then you might see it somewhere in that mid lane role with the Karma. But we'll have to see what it's going to be. Tahm Kench banned off the table alongside the Rakan, so they are removing tank supports away from Gate.
And that makes quite a bit of sense, I think, but there's a lot of picks still available for support, obviously. You know, you can go for things like if you want to go lane focus, something like a Nami. Xayah can pair up there pretty well. Lourlo is banned and Karma is taken off the table, so you're not going to maybe get a premier shielding support, but you still have very powerful laners available here.
Definitely agree. We're going to see that the Caitlyn and the Lucian dropped off the table. Similar bans to before. This time Twitch is allowed, but Piglet going to go for something a bit safer, and he decided that he wants to have more lane control. Xayah not necessarily a huge bully in her own right. Usually players consider the laning phase a bit weaker, but it's going to be Varus picked up anyway, as Keith's Xayah will go up against Piglet's Varus. And ooh, Sejuani and Taliyah come through, so Sejuani into the support role, I'm guessing, for Gate with the Taliyah mid.
Yeah, I've actually heard about some players practicing this, and we have to remember Gate was the guy who brought out the Camille support, and he's willing to actually do some of these things. I've been hearing that Lemonation was actually, you know, playing this in solo queue and seeing some of the guys playing in solo queue. You can look at their accounts, and some of them are experimenting with some pretty wacky stuff. It doesn't always come out into LCS, but Gate obviously has the confidence in his solo queue picks to bring them stage.
It's going to be fun. The final pick comes through as a Cassiopeia mid lane for Slooshi, which means it is going to be Lourlo taking Jayce into the top lane against Looper's Kennen. That is about as solo queue as a matchup can get with an Elise and Elise Sin. I mean, it's really like we just drafted a challenger solo queue game right here. The top half of the map going to be very fun to watch for. And I'm excited about how Sejuani Xayah plays against this. I feel like they get pushed in, but Xayah does work well when kiting back. We'll see what happens.
One thing I will say, when you're actually using that Sejuani, it has a massive amount of CC. So if you can actually Q in, you have the knock-up, then you can actually land your hits for the passive, you can freeze them, and that would set up very easy feathers to actually pull back through for the root. So not only would you get the shatter damage, you'd land an easy root after that. So that's kind of like a 3-part CC chain that you could pull off, and the all-in potential could be pretty high there if they're not getting poked out and really bullied early on.
Absolutely, we'll see what happens here. Some new picks coming in, very exciting for me. Liquid, though, without a tank, meaning you can maybe crash through the front line. Sejuani and Elise going to do the best they can for that job. Not always the tankiest in their respective roles, but we'll see what comes through. Froggen's Taliyah coming in, and Keith off Ashe duty for this match. That was the running joke for him from before, and he's off actually branching out. He had done very well in the laning phase, was actually a key member of why the early game did so well with all the recalls and stuff they had focused off against Liquid. So now on Xayah, we'll see what Keith can do.
Yeah, they actually did really well in lane last game, I think, and definitely deserve some credit for that early game. This is a massively different type of early game 2v2 that they're going to be running, though. Xayah, which you've said, most people don't consider to be really a strong early laner, and Sejuani, which you can't really imagine is a strong early laner unless it's in the all-in type situation.
Yeah.
This is going to be really interesting. It also does set up for some pretty powerful team fighting at the later stages of the game if you can actually make it happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what can happen against Liquid's bot lane because it is interesting to me. As you mentioned, there's a lot of CC on Sejuani, so the hit confirm is there for Xayah to land the root afterwards. And I'm pretty sure if Gate flash Qs, Keith, if he's watching for it, is guaranteed a root, which means there's all the time in the world for Akaadian to come in with Elise and gank as well. And Varus has no natural escapes. The Karma shield's going to be low level early on, and I think I can definitely see some ganks coming in the bot lane.
And I do believe you can actually Q flash on the Sejuani, so you can actually
almost for certain.
Land that just like with body slam flash, so that it's almost unavoidable. It's extremely hard to react to those, and that is going to be something that could really have some good follow-up from Akaadian, as you said. Plus, at later levels, I mean, if you're looking at a level 6 Taliyah, you're looking at a post 6 Gate, the ultimate and the CC following up there is so easy. If you hit the Sejuani ult, you get the guaranteed root, you have your Taliyah rock surfing in, like there's a lot of CC and setup there. But I think so much of this game could come down to top lane, where, like you called it out, I mean, it's essentially a solo queue battle here. These are two of the most popular solo queue champions. If you ever watch Lourlo stream, the guy almost only plays Jayce and Fiora. So it's like, these are matchups that he should know the ins and outs of. And if he ever wanted, his time to kind of shine and really show off his individual mechanics and skill, a matchup like this would be it.
Absolutely agree. And I've always liked Looper for his affinity for playing some kind of funner matchups. I remember him at 2014 World Championship bringing out, what was it, Kale into a Kali or something random when they played Samsung Blue, and he was like super sick on the Kale. So definitely excited to see Looper play as well. He's been one of the more fun top laners in pro play. And we'll see, he's going to get the first push, looks like, against this Jayce. And definitely has a +1 minion lead. And you can see that the way the matchup is played is you kill the minions as fast as possible. You want to get the push lead, and then if you get level 2 first, maybe you can find a trade.
Yeah, and I mean, what Lourlo's kind of saving his Q for is if the Kennen ever actually steps too close to the minion, then you can actually Q the minion, you can splash onto him as well. So you can look for trades like that. But yeah, a lot of it is going to be about poke, about trying to push in and harass your opponent under the turret as they're trying to CS. But both of these champions do have pretty powerful all-in, and Jayce in particular, if he gets ahead, can be so ridiculously oppressive with the Storm Raider Surge, because you're going up against a pretty squishy champion. You can proc that with the Shock Blast and then all-in and hammer form pretty easily.
Here's ReignOver, level 3 gang, looks for Froggen. Ooh, that was nice by Froggen. He tried to bait out the flash, but still the chase is on for Slooshi. Here comes Akaadian. Does not land the Q, though. It wouldn't have been a lethal damage amount, and he would have lost his life for probably Akaadian, but Froggen pushed out with both summoners down.
Yeah, good sidestep from Slooshi, still avoiding the Q from Akaadian on the backside of that. Because he would have probably gotten chunked out quite a bit, because he's almost out of mana. ReignOver was out of mana, so it could have been traded back, but it's a lot of summoners used, and it actually goes positive for Echo Fox, as it's 3 summoners blown for the 2 of Froggen.
Right, Akaadian got to keep his flash up, and now looking for Slooshi. Can he find the damage? The knockback is going to land! No way out! Beautiful counter gank comes through, and look at that, the follow through on the setup, as you mentioned it. It was better for them, and there's the kill. Well played. Echo Fox find another first blood on Akaadian, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, the first blood king is back. I mean, all last season he was getting them. He gets one in game 1, gets one in game 2, doing very well, and meanwhile in the bot lane, turns out he get pushed in pretty hard to Sejuani.
Who would have thought? And this is just really good skill shots by Froggen. The move speed from the worked ground puts him in range for it.
It does, and you can criticize a little bit Slooshi going beside the turret there because he's pigeonholing himself into a position where there's no way to juke side to side against that seismic shove. So you would want to stay in a more open area to have a hope of dodging that out, but that is very nitpicky.
Of course, the other side of it is you walk toward Akaadian a bit closer, which you don't want to do either, and you got to pick one. Either way, the kill comes through, and well played Echo Fox for making it all happen. Another good early game for the squad. This time, of course, not the winning bot lane, at least not just yet. But Akaadian still has his flash. Maybe you can turn that around later on. Top lane fight is equal. 2 minions separates them. So far, so good on both sides. Looper, of course, had blind pick that. And look at the damage there. Stun's going to land, so a bit of a trade back onto Akaadian. They're still fighting for this one. Pretty low health bars, and Akaadian is forced to hop away. ReignOver reveals him and says, all right, back to my jungle I go.
And Slooshi was the faster one on the roam there, so you don't even want to stick around to find out if you win because you'll guaranteed give that kill over to Slooshi if you do, which would be a kill and assist even in a trade.
Gonna land a lot of slows there. Gonna force the flash out of Piglet. Root's gonna land for Matt, though. Good trade in the gate. 100 health left on him. They're gonna have to burn the Summon Hill to keep him alive. Matt had used Ignite, and now Keith also forced a flash away. That trade won by Liquid.
Yeah, very heavily. I mean, the Ignite coming out, no exhaust was ever actually used by Gate. So Piglet was uninhibited, getting all that damage out the whole time. And the early Ignite onto Gate, forcing him back. They do get flash off of Piglet, though. And now you have the flash and the exhaust left on Gate. So you want to call Akaadian down and try to get an all-in here onto Piglet. This is your window of opportunity, and we'll see if they can actually pull it off.
Akaadian pings. There's no wards down there. I'm not seeing. He's waiting to see if Scuttle's going to happen. No, that's available to him. Elise is actually top side. And as you mentioned, yeah, that bot lane gank would be available. They don't know that ReignOver's nowhere to be seen. Mid lane, gigantic lead for Froggen. The kill obviously helps. He was winning lane before already in the first game, and this matchup a bit different now. Looking again for Slooshi, this time going to dodge the seismic shove and pushed out.
Not able to land that, and that's really the key part of the combo from Taliyah. It's essentially the whole combo is landing that seismic shove, and it does so much damage if you are able to pull it off. But Akaadian not having the confidence to actually go bot, didn't know where ReignOver was, if he's there for a counter gank, and when your lane is kind of in the weaker position, if you go for that gank and it doesn't actually work out, it can be pretty brutal. But at the same time, I mean, Keith is falling pretty far behind in the bot lane CS too.
And minus 20 is a rough thing right here. Still, the gold difference is 700, roughly accounts for the first blood itself. More poke onto this one. And looks like it's going to be the holding pattern still in the bot lane. Liquid, safe enough in pushing. It is always risky being a no-escape mark.
ReignOver's behind.
Forever. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, we've got Akaadian winning the wings, and ReignOver looking for the mid side. Froggen, though, far off to the left, and no gank to be had there.
Yeah, and Froggen just got so much damage on Slooshi that they can't even attempt the gank because Slooshi can't join without actually dying. So Froggen is now 6. He could look to roam bot as well. Piglet is still here, has no flash.
Exhaust on the Piglet, low health. He's going to go for the knockup, going to survive a few seconds longer, but Piglet just withstands all the damage output, had heal, and even then it wouldn't have mattered. He's healthy enough, so Gate fighting up more than he could shoot, never got to flash out.
Never got to flash out, and he hadn't bought. Neither had Piglet, but Piglet able to withstand that damage. Unfortunately for them, the kill actually goes to Matt, so the kill credit you'd certainly prefer on your AD carry, but they're still doing very well for themselves.
Difference of 150 gold because of who the kill went on to, and Piglet will see still able to buy a cutlass and boots with it. Shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, and obviously Gate just does not expect them to actually still be here. He tries to proc that passive very quickly over onto Piglet, and they do eventually actually get the freeze, but didn't seem like it actually shattered there.
I don't think he got the last auto attack. No, he got the freeze itself. Now look at the kick flash, and he's going to be a kill in the top lane. Akaadian continues to make the big plays for Echo Fox. Both solo lanes winning, even if Keith and Gate are behind.
Yeah, really nicely done. And it just feels like ReignOver is not able to match him just yet. But Gate here in the mid lane couldn't get this freeze.
That's going to be a stun. That's going to be the shatter damage as well. And just look at the explosion there. ReignOver actually flashed to do nothing with Cocoon.
What a roam from Gate, and they just delete the mid laner. They've killed Lourlo now too, and we talked about how swingy these matchups can be. In carry versus carry matchups, can be pretty tough if you fall behind. So we'll see if Lupin can now, make an advantage happen from this help from Akaadian.
See what he can get out of it. Right now, this game is 1,600 in the lead for Echo Fox. The kills in the solo lanes. Everyone pitching in a little bit here. And the blue buff's still going to be the reward on top of it. Froggen gets the damage output, gets the nice mana regen, and out he goes. And honestly, at this point, as long as Keith can just withstand the bot lane, the rest of the lanes are going to win for him.
Oh, and this is actually pretty risky. You're TPing in to Kennen, who has the ultimate there, and that was pretty disrespectful from Lourlo. those kind of TPs, I just feel like are so needlessly risky. When the wave is already pushing towards you, it's not like he had to shove it out. You can just TP to your turret. If he simply TPs to his turret, that dive is so much harder to actually make happen when Looper hasn't even purchased. Instead, he's trying to TP in on the minion so he can immediately go in on Looper. But with Akaadian there, he just kills himself.
Totally agree, and Akaadian finds more things to take down. A Cloud Drake still over him. Very happy to see that under 10 minutes into this one, so it could be another very highly stacked Drake game for Echo Fox if they need it to close games out like they did in the previous one. We will see. It's going to be a lot of games still to play. This matchup has started to go a bit more Looper's way. He's got the 10 minion lead now, and of course the tilter is always dying when you just TP'd back, so of course that's the entire wave he had lost.
Yep. And it's so impactful in top lane. If you do die after a TP, because not only are you going to lose the gold, so much of it is about the experience.
Ooh, almost finds a bit more on a Froggen. That was a bit close one. The flash used, the trade with Slooshi, of course, as well. ReignOver was in the wings. Matt was nearby as well. And hey, trading flash for flash up a double roam, not too bad.
Not bad at all, and Gate is 6, Froggen is 6, so they have a lot of playmaking. They could actually look for Piglet here if they want to go for that dive, and Froggen is moving down in position to use this Taliyah wall. We'll see if they actually decide to make the play, but at the very least, they're pressuring down this turret and may just take the first turret right off the bat.
It looks like he will save the ultimate in case something else happens. He was confident that the turret would fall without the extra help, and that indeed did happen. So, four-man squad makes bottom, outer fall. First turret gold for Echo Fox. They're getting first everything this series.
Yeah, really well done. And I mean, they move around the map here very well. And that was your losing lane. The only lane that was really having trouble was that bot lane. So, you know, taking down the turret there, you can move your bot lane mid. You can kind of allow them to have a safe place to farm if you want to go for that. And it's going to really take away any problems that they were having.
Absolutely agree. And it's always interesting seeing teams go to the source of the deficit, because sometimes that can be a losing proposition. You go to where they've got a gold lead. If they match you, kind of lose that fight. But no, it's now just wins everywhere for Echo Fox.
And I do agree, but in this case, I don't think it was one where they could be matched, because Slooshi was very low on mana. They knew he was going back to base, and you move 4-man bot. You don't have. They didn't actually go for any dive. They just push them back, and if 3 men show up, you say, hey, no problem, back off. Wasn't really much of a commitment.
And it worked out well. 3,000 gold now, the lead for Echo Fox here, and Gate continuing to roam. Now he and Keith are top side, looking for more outer turrets to kill. And
remember, this is a flashless Lourlo, so if he got too aggressive, they could look to kill him, but this has been matched. There's actually 4 Liquid members up top. I do not believe that Echo Fox is aware of that, rather, just yet.
You see, too, they can expect that Matt is coming nearby, and otherwise they don't really have the easy track on ReignOver, but they can expect 3 and infer that number. Slooshi back in the mid lane still, but that is a nearly 30 minion deficit for him under Froggen. And unfortunately for Liquid, they would hope that the problem was simply Golden Glue, but it's not. It is not simply who you put in the mid lane. There's, of course, more going on here. And the fourth memes are a wistful dream at this point.
Yeah, and to be honest, Golden Glue did actually do pretty well as far as farm in lane against Huhi. And he stayed relatively even in that regard. It's just, you know, more the map movements and everything that they struggle with. And Slooshi, you know, is a new addition to the team, and usually that's not going to be the guy who just fixes your shot calling right off the bat.
Of course not, and maybe, you know, it's going to be a formula that Liquid can work on and get better at from there. It's just may take some time for this mix to really solidify. We'll have to wait and see. Top lane is still the target of priority for Echo Fox. Gate and Keith remaining on this side, and it's really the only team to really cast from, because they're the only team making moves right now in this series. Piglet wave clearing, gets 1 minion from the backside, gets a Karma Shield, and out he goes. Akaadian here to help with the duo and help knock down another turret. This will be 2 0 and outer turrets. Echo Fox continue to be the only team doing well in macro in this game so far. Bigger lead.
And it just has felt like, you know, across all of the TL games so far this season, anytime you look at, okay, the other team's jungler is doing something, well, what's ReignOver doing? He's usually just kind of farming. You know, he's not even really opening up a big farm lead or by any means. He's had so many games like this where, no, he's not dying or anything, but what is he getting done for the team? He's not really putting on a lot of pressure. He's not really accomplishing any ganks, and Looper is actually behind Lourlo here.
Looking for the ulti under the turret, getting plenty of damage. Of course, the minion's gone. He now took a turret shot, finds another stun. Cocoon, nice juke by Looper, gets away with it. That would have probably secured his death, but he juked it out. Blue team is taking the Rift Herald, so Looper pulls a 1v2. Rift Herald still goes down on the top side.
And that Rift Herald being taken is so good now because there's 2 low members from TL, so you can immediately go top and drop that Rift if you want. and very likely an uncontested tier 2, but Looper
4v1.
Get out of here.
He's got flash. He's gonna get rooted no matter what. Matt flashes and barely lands that one. Now he's rooted up, and now the kill is coming through. ReignOver gets himself a kill finally, and the roam to the bot side does work, so bot outer will fall for the pressure, but of course top's being attacked now.
I mean, bot will fall, but will they lose their inhibitor turret because the Rift Herald is available? It's just been summoned. They're actually gonna go mid with that, so they're gonna try to pressure top alone, and then use the Rift in combination with Froggen to be able to take down multiple turrets, and they may get 2 or 3 turrets here pretty easily because they're going to rotate for mid tier 2 now as well. 2 turrets have already gone down for Echo Fox. They could get a third.
2 for 1. Will it be 3? Can it even be more? There's always a chance. Minions fall off and the turret refocuses to the Rift Herald itself. They could have recall. There's going to be a lot of damage here. They might just defend it. Stun comes across. Looking to buy some more time to knock back on a Matt. They're going to take him with one more shot. The minions cannot quite kill him, and Piglet saves the heal. He knew his lane mate was fine the whole time.
Or he didn't think he was worth the heal, one or the other.
I was giving him benefit of the doubt for that one. Looper, of course, just stayed in the bot lane. He did get picked off. The 4v1 is too much. He did not this time around retreat in time. But still, of course, it's still an advantage for Echo Fox here.
Yeah, and Looper was going for the 1v1 play, and I think he certainly would have had this had ReignOver not shown up, but a really nice little sidestep did allow him to avoid that, and now multiple members down here. Looper without flash, he's going to try to just buy time and run away.
Returning to the scene of the crime. The rest of the team is around, lands a slow, looks to kite off on a ReignOver. 3 more attacks will be a stun. He's trying to get away from this one, but now he's going to be hit up by the Cassiopeia. The chase is on, the kill comes through, and Looper sadly runs to his demise a second time.
And mid is pushing, but not enough time to actually go and get that turret because Akaadian was in base, Froggen was in base, and now TL, having got that pick off, could look to try to start up this dragon and get something there.
Ooh, big plays out of Slooshi, looking to pick off Froggen, flashes, but still takes a shock blast to the face and has not a lot of places to go. Tries to jump the wall and gets to the other side. That was as well played as it could have been. You saw Slooshi try to cue him early to knock him off, but Froggen played it so well. Nicely orchestrated escape.
That was very well done. And Slooshi, ideally, I think you actually step down and then just try to E him to immediately knock off. But because he got knocked up by the actual ultimate there, he was CC'd, and Froggen slides on by.
That was definitely nice stuff right there by Froggen. So a good ult for self-preservation, but still the map priority did go to Liquid. They picked up this Drake, so signs of life. They picked up 2 kills. They made Froggen have to make a sick play to get out. The Drake was picked up. There's a long way to go, but this is, sadly to say, the best Liquid's looked all series.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Liquid is definitely showing some fight here, but they are down nearly 4,000 gold. They're losing their jungle. A mid lane tier 2 is very, very low and could easily be taken down here too, which would extend that gold lead for Echo Fox. And the big thing for them last game was once they got vision control in their opponent's jungle. And as you can see, there's already 3 pink wards in the red side jungle for TL, plus some other wards, and then a 4th pink ward in the river. So they really are focusing vision back up here again, and they're going to try to threaten this side, unlock Looper in that split push, keep him safe.
Yeah, I do like Echo Fox are showing some very obvious and dedicated moves towards getting an advantage in the game. Slooshi not going to be part of this one. The stun barely lands from Gate. That was a tight minion, and he's going to land it, and it's going to be going down. Froggen gets the kill for that.
Akaadian was looking for ReignOver there, but caught a Spiderling actually with that Sonic Wave. And Gate, I'm really impressed. I mean, I think that he's making this pick work. He's roaming around, they're moving around the map, and they got out of lane just fine. And now he's been a part of killing Slooshi off twice and really getting that snowball going in the mid lane. Froggen is so far ahead, and Gate has been pretty impactful here. May get picked off now.
Moby's turned off, and Akaadian's there for the shoot, looking to get out.
So I just love seeing unique supports like this come out, and the fact that he has the confidence to bring out something like a Sejuani. You're talking to some of the pro players, one of the things that they kind of talk about is the fear of bringing out these unique picks simply because of all the criticism you'll receive if you don't make it work. I mean, if you play at Karma or whatever and you have kind of a mech game, and no one really remembers it, if you bring out Sejuani and you feed on stage, that's all anyone's going to talk about.
Of course, and sometimes those come back in, and sometimes they go away forever, like maybe a Mordekaiser or a Blitzcrank. But bot lane 2-2 going to fall. The Taliyah wall gives them the time they need to make sure there's no reinforcements coming. It cuts off the angle of reinforcement. Now it's 5-1 in turrets. Echo Fox with a solid 5, almost 6,000 gold.
And the last outer turret is that mid lane, which is super, super low. Lourlo is pushing up top side, and they have equalized that matchup a little bit through taking down Looper a couple times, allowing Lourlo some side lane farm and kind of caught up in XP, caught up in gold a bit. So that hopefully for them could start going their way because that's one way you could get back.
This damage here, Lupa's got nowhere to go, and sadly for him, he continues to be set up alone without the vision coverage to see when people are coming in, and Matt did not have to flash to make that happen, just simply walked up and got him.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, as a split pusher, when you do not know where the other team is and you do not have vision on them, you have to back off. You cannot actually just play so recklessly like that. You know, the first death you can give him, the second death maybe, but this one as well, you know, his team had just based, his team is not around there. They know that they had established vision in that jungle because Gate and Akaadian just got chased out of there, but yet he's back up again, gets caught from Piglet, and Piglet didn't even have to expend a flash to catch him or anything like that.
Had used very little ulti from Piglet, made that a bit easier. Matt has 100% kill participation and 0 deaths, so far putting in a lot of weight so far for Liquid. The comeback is still far away, but it is always possible. We know Echo Fox have had trouble closing games out, and I think it is within reach for Liquid, even though you could argue their scaling not quite as good. They don't have the same Kog'Maw as last game. But Piglet can still put out good damage.
And they have Cassiopeia, which is one of the highest damage mid laners in the game. You know, Cassio is essentially like a mid lane Kog'Maw almost. Like this champion, you don't need to build boots, so you can actually get that extra item and be incredibly strong later.
Bit of an air ball there, and out they go. I'm sure Twitch chat's yelling at Smithy right now, but he's actually 2-0.
They are now.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee it was already happening either way, though. Smithy himself has done very well so far this split. And Echo Fox, the same. They are winning in their 4th straight game here in the North American LCS, and they're looking at the top side. Baron has spawned at 20 minutes in.
Smithy has not shown the Sejuani yet. You know, maybe his Sejuani is on point now, Phreak.
That's true.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's going to be coming back.
I was just saying what
he's
Twitch
going to be popping off.
Twitch chat's unfair. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
I kind of love when the negative memes turn into the positive ones.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, at first, you know, the sneaky and lane thing, everyone's making fun of him. Then Sneaky be popping off and everyone's like spamming sneaky and lane again.
Sneaky and lane lol.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely agree.
I think that stuff is great.
Yeah, we'll see. What is the Azael? Is it a positive? I think it is. You're a great person.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we are onto the Baron Nashor. Echo Fox don't even need Froggen to do it. They've even got Looper on the bot side, and here we go. Finally, a sweeper, a Farsight trinket used, and look at the cutoff there. As long as he can zone out ReignOver, and he can almost kill him. He forces the flash. He jumps to a ward to get away. Oh, that was close, but they made it happen. Blue team has secured Baron Nashor. Akaadian grabs it.
Yet again, Echo Fox gets a Baron, and we'll see how fast they can actually make this one work for them. They're up massively in gold again. They have a super early Baron. Can they actually crack the base this time around? They have a lot of dive tools. They have a strong split pusher. Let's see if they can close it out quickly.
See if they can. 22 almost minutes into this one. Mid lane tier 2 falls. All 6 outer turrets are gone, as you call them. Only inhibitors left up now defended. Leaper back on the bot side. Has played for lane pressure. Sadly for him, back to 1 and 3 is not glorious, but his early pressure got them some turret kills, so he's still part of the winning team for sure. This time playing a bit more defensively and going to get away with it.
And it's not like that big of a deal that he's died a few times because the rest of Raph is winning and because it has not really been at critical moments. So as long as he is creating pressure, the 4-man squad can move around and really take objectives down and kind of make use of that.
Absolutely agree. Gate loses Frost armor. Piglet landing the poke there. Does very little damage. You can see that Gate has a permanent shield thanks to his support quest. I like calling him out. I find them interesting. So he's even tankier now on this champion.
Yeah. Face of the Mountain one's not bad. I think that really the standout one is Spell Thieves, just because that move speed I think is the one that impacts gameplay the most. You know, it does feel really good also, but I mean on someone like Karma, right? You can actually get the speed up, which allows you to land tether and things like that.
W is like automatic at that point.
And even Rakan, you know, move speed actually increases the pace at which you travel in your W and your ultimate and these sorts of things. So I think it can be pretty powerful and gameplay impacting on some of those champions. Whereas you know, I just haven't seen the Talisman of Ascension, the coin quest really be super impactful, and the shield is nice, but it's it doesn't really change how you play.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Maybe you live sometimes when you wouldn't have. Like it's raw stats, right? Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. But we'll see what happens here to this one. Under the pressure, and look at the damage output. Nearly taking down ReignOver, and he's got nowhere to jump to. So one final shot takes them out. Another kill credit to Froggen. 3-0-1 on this Taliyah. Top lane hitter gonna fall soon enough. Lourlo being chased down by Looper. He can't get back into the base just yet. So in a 4v3, this inhib will fall. Echo Fox cracked the base in 23 minutes.
Yeah, and they have Gate on the Sejuani able to set up that dive. ReignOver didn't have his flash because Froggen had forced him off the Baron. It had to be blown there, and you have some strong dive here with the Elise and Sejuani combo. So we may be able to see them kind of exert their will on their opponents and really look to close this one out quick. because ReignOver is still down. Bot lane pressure being pushed up here by Looper, and they're looking for a second inhib.
All right, 5 seconds, now 2, now 1, and ReignOver's back alive. And the Baron buff slowly taking down. This wave is going to time out, and there's going to be at least one more they can use with it. EchoFox going to push Looper in with the bot lane now, and that's going to reach. However, it is a little bit desynced with mid. A few seconds of freedom for Lourlo. And now Liquid can go back end towards this side. Piglet wants to see, oh wow! Lourlo, yes, nearly taken down. And Piglet actually almost forces Looper out. Doesn't burn much for it though, and mid lane still under fire because of the resources sent bot side. Quick route lands onto Akaadian, going to be chunked low, but does get out. Mercury does help with that one, of course. And 2 auto attack will knock down the middle inhibitor turret itself, so that should be broken. They won't go just yet, I guess keep. And to be fair, if Slooshi ults you and you lose the game, that's your fault. So it's okay to be a bit more patient. Froggen finally bites the bullet and goes for it. Pops his ghost, actually. Froggen wants in. Can he find a person to kill? Not just yet, though. Lourlo still waiting from the bot side.
And Gate does have his ult and a flash, so look for him to go for the play if they want to try to close this out. I think they should. I mean, they're in position to go for it at really no cost right now. They can go for this third and final inhibitor, and if anyone steps up, you have the diving tools.
See if they can make this one happen. Double inhibitor down, looking for a sub 30-minute win this time around, and it seems likely here. ReignOver finds the stun, has to kite back though. He's very injured. More damage. The flash cocoon's gonna land only on the minions. No stuns to be had. Good kiting back by EchoFox to see it coming.
Top lane is pushing in very heavily with the supers being here, so Lourlo's gonna have to go up to answer this, and this next wave is gonna be a big time of vulnerability for TL as they're being pushed in mid, pushed in top, and that turret is very close to dying. EchoFox still with all their flashes and their engage tools.
And this is the tool to close it out there. No way out, no flash still for ReignOver, and dies during the stun. Matt's got no retreat path either, and doesn't matter that he flashed. That's 2 kills picked up. The inhibitor turret falling as well, and even the inhibitor gonna be next up. 5 versus 3, enough spells still available. Slicing Maelstrom in case they want to dive. That's gonna be almost it here for this one. EchoFox have almost no way of dropping this one away. Good chunk on the Keith. Staying alive for now, though. Liquid hoping to defend this somehow as a miracle in a 3v5. More damage out of Slooshi. Froggen in the front lines. Takes some turret aggro, which makes it a bit risky. They're still undamaged. And yeah, it's going to be maybe a kill if they can get one shot into Akaadian. Has to jump away to stay alive, and it's going to be out for EchoFox. Now Looper actually beset. Attacked by Lourlo. Piglet's in the fight as well. Can't get the one picked off, but can Piglet do the damage? One auto attack, 2. Summon heal for the chase. Flash to get away. Creative summoners, and out goes EchoFox.
Still very well done for EchoFox. They didn't need to actually end there because they have all the inhibs down. Infernal is coming up to collect, and they can go back, buy, reset, and clean this one up pretty easily. And ReignOver, he tries to get into spider form to repel quickly enough, but when that Sejuani ultimate hits you, it's an easy seismic shove for Froggen on the Taliyah, and that is going to be a death sentence.
Absolutely is. Don't even need Thresh to make it so. 3-kill lead, 13,000 gold puts him up.
A
smart, yeah, 3 out of 10, that's all I need. That's roughly my skill level in anything. And here we go. EchoFox, triple inhibitor down. Honestly, there's so little that can be done about this one. I don't think they wait for Baron this time around. Double supers in every single wave. They spawn 12 per minute. And there's almost not even enough damage on Liquid to kill them off before another one spawns.
Exactly. I mean, when there's 6 supers coming into your base at a time, you essentially need something like a Jinx with Hurricane or like, you know, Kog'Maw, some sort of hyper carry to really keep up with the wave clear. Otherwise, you essentially just have to walk into the base and allow the ambient pressure of the minions to really do the work for you.
Yeah, Gate only going to find a slow with the ultimate. Just a little bit of damage done, but not a ton. Matt's okay on this. And they're going to wait. Let's see which side EchoFox comes in from. Looking to wait for top lane to join this time around. A couple of wards inside the base, and Liquid know this is their final stand between a 0-4 game start. Matt completes his quest, but the quest for victory might not be there. ReignOver forced to flash away yet again. Great wall out of Froggen to force a summoner spell. And now on to the turrets. They're going to go. Gate going to take up some of the damage. The minion waves are here. They nearly pick off. ReignOver forced to repel away the other side of the minion wave. And bot lane now attack. The supers are there to do all the damage to the buildings they need. First turret falls, second one to follow. Open Nexus, and EchoFox gonna 2-0 Liquid with a grand total of 18 kills across the series. There's a few more can fall, but the Nexus is under fire. Piglet forced to kite back. One more kill picked up in the end, and less than 20 kills results in a 2-0 victory for EchoFox.
And a 4-0 weekend, they win both their series, 2-0s apiece, and EchoFox have got to be very happy about their start to the season. And Team Liquid is in the exact opposite situation. They didn't even pick up a single game win this time around, and honestly, we're never close really against EchoFox today.
No, not at all. It's been early game advantages kind of the whole way through. A kill in the bot lane didn't mean that much for Piglet and Matt. So for EchoFox, it's almost the right kind of 2-0 week. You won and you feel good, but you also see the mistakes that you can work on.
Yeah.
Say, look, we're good enough to get the wins, but here's the evidence of things we want to get better at. That game 1, again, I think was very slow. Game 2 definitely looked a lot better, so it seemed like even in this one, they cleaned up some elements there. And Echo Fox, maybe they're back to the odd week, even week curse from the spring split, but certainly it's a good start, and I can't wait to see more from them in week 2, because what I'm really happy about is that it seems like we're back to beginning spring split Akaadian, where he felt confident he was on early playmakers. I know he had felt dissatisfied with the jungle a few months ago and thought that the role got a lot weaker and had no impact. Well, clearly not the case here. He certainly did a lot this day.
Yeah, he really did. He was able to move around the map well, be very impactful, and I think the fact that Froggen had such a standout week is very promising.
Super
Plus,
good.
that Keith is actually doing a pretty good job in lane in general, and he's not just playing like Ashe, he's playing multiple champions. I think that is going to give him a bit of a confidence boost, and the team a confidence boost in him, because seeing that he can perform on multiple champions in like multiple types of roles for the AD carry is really important, right? Like the team has to believe in your AD carry and believe that you can run all these different comps if you're ever going to be a top team.
Absolutely, and I think about game 1 where, yes, it's an advantageous matchup for Keith and Gate, but they did win lane against Piglet and Matt, and we know Piglet's a great player, Matt's very good too, and the fact that you can make all your jokes about Keith you want, they won the lane, and you know they got first turret here in this one as well, despite maybe one small backstep there in the early game here, so it seems like improvement kind of all across the board for Echo Fox. On the other side, though, for Liquid, it's exactly where it feels like this roster left off. And as we saw from this one, you know, maybe it's not even Golden Glue who's the problem. As you mentioned, he had some good laning stats in the first match, but there's clearly more wrong here than just, oh, well, you got to find yourself a real mid laner. They got to find themselves some real shot calling.
Yeah. I mean, it really does feel like, for lack of a better word, they're playing to not lose. In a lot of the situations, no one's really making proactive plays. No one's really trying to step up and carry the game. Nothing much is happening, and it's one of those situations where you just kind of curl up in this defensive ball, and you just, okay, we'll give that up. Okay, we'll give that up. We'll give that up. And you can't just give up everything in League of Legends, because once you lose control of your jungle, once you lose control of your outer turrets and stuff, like the gold lead just compounds. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because they're farming both sides of the map.
Yeah, I mean, this is League of Legends, not League of Rammus. Calling up the defensive ball is not okay, and that's the situation we've had here for Liquid, where they have yet to really strike out and find much. So unfortunate for them, but still a great win for Echo Fox, and so